You read about the story of a place and then you arrive. The impression totally changes once you get your senses. The visceral element. When I arrived, for me it was perfect. It was misty, it was raining. So I'm here now and it feels very wild. You know, one can feel if there's a performance being put on quite quickly. Here there wasn't that. I guess the term that kind of brings together what I feel like I am as a tea explorer or tea advocate, the basis of which is going to the ground zeros of where tea is grown and just talking to farmers, getting their histories, their relationship with the leaf, their very uncomplicated stories. We're here because a very charismatic, slightly pushy, but entirely legitimate gentleman named Michael Ham. Michael had been referred to me by someone who said, listen, if you're gonna meet 5 people at the World Tea Expo, you should probably find this guy from Wild Orchard. And this is very much in Michael's character, now that I know him more. He found me first, and then Michael talked about this project, Wild Orchard. And words are words until you start seeing and feeling somebody's compelling narrative. And so this festival had been mentioned here on Jeju Island. I thought it's exactly what I love to do, is just to see the gardens and the weeds, and because you get out of the marketing blitz when you visit a garden, you have to. And so I arrived here and it's, we're about 7 liters of tea in 2 days.
Wild Orchard Tea started in 1999 on barren land, and our founding farmers decided to plant by seed to see what nature would do with it. And 26 years later, it's turned into a miraculous tea farm.
녹차 씨앗을 심기 전에는 소 방목장이었습니다. 소들이 뛰어놀던 그런 장소였는데, 제주도에는 비가 많이 와서 이게 토양 유실이 아주 심했었는데, 녹차를 심고 나서는 이제 토양 유실도 없고, 이게 이제 풀이 이제 잡풀들이 대비가 돼 가지고 이제 그게 녹차의 대비가 된 현재 상태입니다. 우리가 이제 여기 처음에 정착하기 전에는 화학 비료로 여기를 전체적으로 농사를 다 지었던 땅들입니다. 그래서 이제 토양을 갈구했기 때문에 토양도 척박하고 토양 유실이 심했었는데, 제주도는 원래 이제 돌이 많아 가지고 여기에도 돌이 엄청 많은 지역이었습니다. 이게 이제 조금만 이렇게 흙을 뒤집어도 전부 다 돌이었었는데, 지금은 풀들이 쓰러지고 또 쓰러지고 해가지고 그게 이제 대비가 되면서 이제 풀들이 이렇게 자연스럽게 이제 돌들도 덮고 그게 이제 토양이 된 그런 상태이기 때문에 땅이 푹신푹신하고 이제 땅 속에는 말할 수 없는 엄청난 다른 미생물들이 이렇게 이제 많이 번식을 하고 있을 거라고 지금 생각을 하고 있습니다.
When we planted the tea seeds, or had the vision to, people were saying it's never going to work. You have all this wild grass, you have all these chemicals, the water quality is bad. How are you going to do this? We'll see what happens if you do this. But over the years, the water has become clean and pure through regenerative farming practices. The soil has gone from acidic, which allowed the silver needle grasses to thrive, now more alkaline with the tea trees. The soil, if you pick up the soil, you see worms, you see insects, you could tell that it's thriving and living. Regenerative organic principles is really about creating a thriving microbiome and a living ecosystem under our feet. Having a cover crop, you want to protect the soil and the microbiome of the soil. You want to integrate livestock, right? So that you have natural fertilizer, nothing synthetic. And then the third thing is, I think it's so critical, social, and farm worker fairness. The farmers have to have a living wage. They have to have enough rest. A certifier who came here in May 2022, he sat every employee down and he said, "Are you happy working here?" And all of our farmers said they feel like they have a purpose. They feel like even though they work hard, they're working for something of great value and that it will have an impact on the world.
This place is interesting because it's a combination of old school for me, because you've got these tea gardens that are smidged in between these forests. You've got this kind of old idea that's been reconstituted of biodynamic farming, so there's weeds growing. There's tea leaves that are not perfect, and you can tell that the bugs and the animals they're all over the place enjoying life. But there's a little bit more of a modern responsibility, I feel, from the founders, including Michael, to this obligation to the community to make this something of a model for the future. I feel like there's a real effort to show locals that these old ways, these old skill sets are not things of the past, that there's a place for them. But in the end, of course, I mean, this may sound a little bit trivial, but in the end, what they're creating, the teas themselves, are phenomenal. And so ultimately, a project can feel desirable to support, but if the end result isn't something that's quality, then it's a different story. Everything here, I feel, has taken time. And I feel like they're not in this perpetual rush cycle that affects all of us.
When we first started, we weren't sure. We knew that we had great quality tea, it tasted great, but how does it stack up against the world's finest teas? And so we just started entering into competitions. We primarily enter the top 4, considered the top 4 in the world, and we won 27 medals in the last 5 years. So we also want to show that regenerative organic agriculture doesn't just elevate and protect the environment, but it can really lead to a world-class tea that is validated by the world tea experts.
이게 이제 우리가 이제 좋은 녹차를 생산하기 위해서 하고, 이제 지금 밭을 다니시면서 보면은 바닥이 푹신푹신합니다, 이게. 그러니까 이제 여기에 있는 새소리와 이 자연과 그러고 특히 제주도에는 1년 내내 항상 푸르고 꽃이 있는 곳이 이곳입니다. 그래서 여기가 이제 일할 때도 즐겁지만서도 일이 끝나는 시점도 즐겁고, 항상 여기 있는 자체가 힐링이라고 볼 수 있습니다. 즐거움이라고 볼 수 있습니다.
Tea takes time by necessity. To do it properly takes time. I'm going to quote someone here, Mr. Lee, master of making pu'er in Yunnan. He said, because there's something about the journey of taking time to make it, to brew it, to sip it, to enjoy it. And I think that's my connection to it. I'd love to tell you that there's some spiritual journey I go on when I'm tripping out on far too many cups, but for me it's about the time component. And I think particularly the time with community or others or just the cup.
So tea has a 5,000-year history. It's not new, right? And it's the second most consumed beverage in the world after water. Tea crosses cultures, crosses ages, crosses gender. It's something that can bring people together. And we're living in a world more and more where people are getting further apart from each other. It's a very polarizing environment that we live in today. Tea is special because it can bring people back together. And tea grown in pristine nature and having a setting like this for people to come together, enjoy good food and drink, enjoy good company, all within the environment of a truly natural surrounding, a truly wild orchard, is something I think the world needs more of.